Okay, so we're going to bring on our first guest. And she is no stranger to the show. And her name is AC Arthur. And she's been on the show before as an author. And she's back as an author. But she's also here because she has an event coming up called the One Love Reunion. And
Nice.
we
I like
want
the name.
her to talk about the One Love Reunion. So as soon as her actual video comes on, we're going to have AC on. And I don't have the date for her event in front of me, so she'll tell us the actual dates. I think it's in July. Um, so
Hi.
hi AC, welcome
Hello,
back
hello.
to Black Authors Matter TV.
Hi. Thank you for having me back again.
You are welcome. And you are in event preparation mode about now, right?
I am. And that's a nice way to put it. That's not the wording I would use for it right about now.
I like to call it running around like a chicken with my head cut off.
Yes, times 25. Times 25.
Yeah, it's high stress when the month before. For me, the month before ours, because the rest of everything else I can space out because we plan a year ahead. But that last month, there's always some kind of glitch or some emergency or something unexpected happens that last month, or it's just
no matter
so
how
much
early
to do.
you start planning, it's always the last minute thing.
It's always it doesn't.
And that's the thing. You try to do so much ahead of time.
Yeah.
And every year, because we plan a year ahead as well. And every year I say, okay, we're going to start this earlier. We're going to do this even earlier. We're going to start this and we're going to do this. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The last 3 or 4 weeks are just chaotic.
Yeah, they are. Regardless. This year we were able.
It says a lot about you though, because one of the reasons why it gets chaotic and so many little things are happening is because you're considering all of the details. And you want it to be a special event. So it says a lot about you that you're not letting these little things pass.
No, some days I wish I could though. Some days I'm like, you really got to let this go, and it's gonna work out. Just let some of the stuff go, but I don't. And no matter, like I said, no matter how much planning goes into it, and I have a really great team, but at the end of the day, it still falls on me.
So
I'm very conscientious about making sure that I know every single thing. I'm on top of every single thing. I guess that can kind of be construed as controlling, but also, I want people are paying for this event. So I want everybody to come and I want them to have a good time. I want things to go well. I know that in the end, I don't have 110% control over how well something goes. And something always happens. People don't always see behind the scenes.
So
things will be right. Things will be happening and they'll just be, oh, this was great. We had a great time. And I was like,
but you feel like everybody knows and you're like, oh, it's terrible. Nobody's coming back. They all just saw how crazy everything was and they didn't
see it.
And then they don't know what fires you may have had to put out in the course of the event that you never talk about, and they're never public. Well, hopefully not public, but there's little things that happen here and there, and some can be small, some can be big. Hopefully not too big, but and even though we have an excellent team for the National Black Book Festival, but I have to make sure I have everything prepared for the team managers. For the managers, what I do is for, like, if they're over a particular event, I put everything in a bin, everything they need for the event. I put the agenda, if they have door prizes, if they're playing a game, if whatever they're doing, it goes in that bin. And so when they get there, all I do is have to hand them the bin, and that's it. We don't even have to talk. But it takes.
Gwen, at least say hi to the people now.
I've already seen them before they get the bin because they've been working, staying up late, doing setup. you haven't been there for the nighttime setup, which goes from 1 to 2 a.m. Then we have to be back there for the early morning. So they've been there already. That's a team. That's the kind of team you need. That's just with you to the bitter end. And Rhonda's part of that team. And what she does is she does the interviewing throughout the event. So the night before, she gets to rest up and think about her questions, think about all the stuff that she's gonna be doing, so she can be fresh on the camera, because she does live streaming and stuff. So she's well rested.
Yes. But
sometimes
you do One Love.
Huh? No, yeah, tell us about the One Love. Tell us about the One Love reunion.
Oh, so One Love reunion this year we're celebrating our 10th year.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. The dates of this year's event is July 17th through the 20th. And we will be in Nashville, Tennessee, at the Sheraton Music City Resort, which is a beautiful resort. We're about 10 minutes away from the African American Music Museum, which I've been to Nashville 4 times to prepare for this event. And only on this last visit did I get a chance to actually visit the museum. And I made sure to do that on this last visit, because I know I won't have time to do it when we go in July. Right. But One Love did not start as One Love. It actually started as just a reader event for me. A few of my readers thought it would be a good idea if I had a reader event for readers to come out and have a place to talk about my books. And I didn't think anybody would show up. So I was like, well, we're only going to have 20 people. We'll just cut it off at 20 people. Because I figured at worst case scenario, I could get my family to fill in the 20 people, and then it would look full, and I wouldn't look like nobody showed up for me. And actually, we ended up having a lot of other people after the 20 tickets sold out wanting to come. And I was like, oh, well, maybe I could have opened it up to more. But it was still my first one. So I was like, 20 is good. The next year we didn't have a cap, because they were like, this is just foolish. Why are you even doing a cap? So we didn't have a cap. It grew a little more. The next year it grew, and then it grew again. And eventually I started to feel like this needed to have a bigger purpose for it to continue to move on. I couldn't keep taking time out to plan something that really was just about me and my books. I wanted it to serve a bigger purpose and to open its arms to so many more readers and authors. So I immediately started asking other authors to come, because again, then that meant I didn't have to be there by myself. And then I didn't have to feel like, oh my gosh, nobody might not come and see me. So if I had other authors come, then that pressure was off my shoulders. So I had already started inviting new authors. And as events grow, you'll know because you're an event planner too, as events grow, so do the expenses, so does the stress, so does the time. And eventually my husband and I, we were like, yeah, this has to mean something more. This has to do something more than what it's doing now. Otherwise, is this really worth the time, the effort, and the money? So I prayed about it, because I didn't know the answer. Like, I knew there was something I wanted to do. I just wasn't sure what it was supposed to look like and what else it was going to require of me. And I thought, well, if there's no answer, then that means I'm not going to do it. I am extremely impatient. So even in the waiting, I was like, well, I should probably have a backup plan, even if this is not the thing I'm supposed to do. And as I continued to plan, it was just more revealed to me. The purpose of this event was shown to me, and I was able to really concentrate on what this is supposed to be. When I first started writing, I went to a lot of conferences. I went to a lot of book signings, and I didn't always feel comfortable. I didn't always feel like this was the place for me. Or even when the readers were coming, if I was at a book signing and readers were walking past my table and going to another author, and I would be in the middle of 3, 4 authors, and they're selling out and nobody was coming to my table. And I felt like it was because this wasn't my audience. I wasn't supposed to be in this space because I didn't belong in this space. And I hate to ever feel like I don't belong, because I belong where I am. But that feeling was still there. And I went to so many events, and I kept going every year. I was determined. I was like, well, I'm writing books, and my books are just as good as anybody else's, so I'm gonna show up. And to this day, I still go to a lot of different events just because I'm an author too. So I'm still going to show up. But I wanted a place where I felt comfortable, where readers felt comfortable, where readers could go and see authors who they loved, who they'd been reading their books all year, and they could sit and have a conversation with them. It wasn't about just run up to the table and get your book signed and then run away and go somewhere else and get your book signed. Like, I wanted there to be time to have personal conversations. And so that's how the One Love reunion came about, because I always thought of these yearly meetings as time to be with my literary family. And so it was like, we're going to this family reunion. So that's what we do. We get together and we have a lot of fun. When we plan the program, we are thinking about how can we have the most fun with this. A lot of our panel sessions are really just games with the book characters, because readers love all the characters, so they get to know the characters more. They're meeting their favorite authors, and they're seeing their favorite authors in a very comfortable setting that you don't usually see them. You usually see them just online, or if you go to a book signing and you go to a table. Your time with an author is very limited at a book signing, because they have to sign and they have to move on.
Right.
I know for me, a lot of times readers will come up and they'll say, "Oh, write something special in my book, write something long, write something meaningful." And I'm like, okay, well, one, there are people behind you in this line. And two, I can't think that fast. I know you're holding this book with 100,000 words in it that I have written, but really I can't think that fast. This didn't come that fast. I have to take time to do this. And I don't have that time with each individual reader just at a book signing. But at One Love, I don't do a lot of panels and stuff. I'm always working at One Love. So I'm not, I kind of forget that I'm an author too. And so in the last year or so, my team has been like, no, you have to put something on the schedule because you never show up as the author. I'm like, no, because I'm doing all the other stuff, but I'm trying to show up as both in the coming years. Just so, but I'm still there, and readers see me and they're coming up to me and they're talking to me, and other authors, I'm meeting new authors and they're talking to me, and it's just a really comfortable setting. So I'm really proud of what it's become and what I feel like it can still grow into.
I know exactly what you mean when you're trying to host an event and you want to make sure that the people who paid to be a part of it have a great experience. And but you're trying to balance that with letting people know, hey, I'm an author as well. I still have books here, but you don't want the people who paid to be there to feel like they're competing with you. So I mean, it is a little bit of a tightrope that you walk. And it sounds like you've kind of figured out a good balance in how you do that. And I think that your team is right. Even if you have one segment that's all about you, maybe you're like the welcome speaker or something. That's what I had to learn to do, because when I do my Black History Month event, I try to make it all about the authors. But when I do the brunch, I want to make sure that I'm the one who's welcoming the people in. I want to give at least a little bit of a speech. And that way they know who you are. So now, so with all of that said though, is that what you do? Is it more of a welcome address, or do you teach a class, or is it like a book discussion?
So last year was the first year I was on the schedule again. And we do sessions called intimate sessions, where There are just a few authors, and then readers are in the room, and they can just ask questions. It's very informal, whatever question. It's just like a Q&A. The readers can ask authors whatever they want. So when my team was, they were like, we have all these panels, be on one of these panels. And it's like, no, because, the other authors, they come and they want to be on the panel and they want to talk. And they're like, okay, well, we have the perfect thing. You can do an intimate session. And I was like, no, because then I'll be there by myself. And they were like, that is the point. So we did it, and it wasn't totally bad. I just sat there and I said it to everybody. And now everybody has to ask me questions because I'm horrible at just ad-libbing. Like I don't know what you want to hear. So just ask a whole bunch of questions. Do something to fill out this hour. And they did. And it was fine. It was great. This year, I am doing another one of those sessions, but it will focus on my longest running series, The Donovans. So that hour-long session will be like an in-depth discussion of the Donovans.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I tell people I never get to attend my festival. I'm working the entire, because I try to stay stationary because I'm, coordinating the event. And then so the managers are on the floor or moving around. I try to stay stationary, so I never. One year I did a seminar based on my debt-free college book. I said, okay, I'm gonna try to carve out an hour to do this seminar. And the seminar went well. It was well attended, but as soon as it was over, I went back to the information desk, and somebody said, "When all hell broke loose after you left." Okay, I was only gone an hour. I don't even remember what happened, but anyways, it's just the way it is. But I get the satisfaction of all the people who come and say they were thrilled to be there, and it was life-changing, and the attendees that come, because our event is open to the public unless it's free, unless you go to one of our eating special events where we have food catered. So most of them say they never knew there were that many Black authors. They're just amazed that it's over 100 in one room. So, but I do understand what you're saying about being the center of attention, sort of. I'm an extrovert. Introvert. I'm an extroverted introvert.
Yeah.
Oh no. I'm firmly on the introvert side.
I can do stuff in public, but then I have to come back and go in. It's like I can't just like be out there all the time. So because I like the quiet time. So now, what made you pick Nashville? And your event moves around. So how do you decide where you're going to move, where you're going to be from one year to the next?
So another thing that I always keep in mind is when I used to decide which conferences and things I was going to go to, I would always look at places that I had never been. And then that way, my husband could come and then we bring the kids, and it would be like combined with a vacation. Because when I first started going out to conferences and things, like, my kids were in school, so we had daycare, and I just started out and I'm struggling with this writing thing. And it's like, well, this needs to be our family vacation. So we need to go to, anytime I would say, well, there's a conference here. Okay, well, what else is there? Is there like a beach? Is there like, so when I started having the events and I started, the first one was here, and well, the first two were here in Baltimore. And then I thought we'll go different places, and we'll have it in the summer, in the warmer months. And that way people can combine that with their vacation. So they don't have to feel like they're choosing between budgeting money for a book event and still having to do a vacation with their family. So we look at places that are going to be like tourist attractions, with where you can do other things. So we've done Disney World twice. We did a cruise. We did Vegas. We did Houston. So we kind of like bounce around. For the 10th celebration, we really wanted somewhere that was special, somewhere that would offer things to do, somewhere that had a lot of cultural things to do. So I don't even know who came up with Nashville. We talk about places all the time, and I always throw out places, and the team is always like, "Yeah, no, I don't like that." And then I'll come back and say, "This is what it is," and they're like, "Yeah, we knew you were gonna just decide." But we thought Nashville would be fun. And so we tied that in with and we always have a theme on the last evening. So our book signing is free and open to the public on Saturday morning, afternoon. And then Saturday evening, we always have our costume party. Just because, again, as adults, we don't do a whole lot we don't always get the opportunity to dress up and dance and do different things. So we always have a themed costume party on Saturday evening. This year, the theme is denim and diamonds. The denim for Nashville, the diamonds for the 10th year celebration. So I think, people are really getting excited about that. Last year we were in Charleston and the theme was the Southern Belle. And so we have a costume contest, and the winner of that contest gets free admission the next year. So it's just a little added something for people to look forward to. And we always announce where we're going the next year at the costume party on Saturday evening.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
how far in advance do you choose the cities then? Now you're going to Nashville this year. And I'm guessing you've already chosen the next city because you're going to announce it. Yes. So do you have your cities chosen for the next couple of years, or do you just
normally I don't. This year I do, just because we knew we wanted to do something different in 26. So that required us to get in and start kind of pre-planning that now. So we know what 25 is and we know what 26 is.
Okay. All right. Well, we know what all our years are because we stay in Houston. People ask us, people will I get messages all the time. When do you come into where? Never. The answer is never. Okay, why don't you move? No, because here's the thing. Houston, we've got the cost worked out. We've got the cost worked out with the venue, with the caterer, the hotel. We have excellent room rates. Our rooms are they were $89 a night for 10 years, and they just recently this year increased it by $6 to $95. That is an amazing rate. So the cost of just about everything in Houston is lower than most big cities. So, for us to try to move ourselves and move people, and we wouldn't be able to have free admission because it would just be too costly. And what I tell people is, when people say, well, why don't you come here? I say, okay, you find me a sponsor, or you can do it. Write me a check for $50,000, and then we'll consider it. That's it.
Yeah. People don't consider the cost, and there's definitely a cost in moving from city to city. What's actually been working out better for us is when we use the same hotel chain. So one year we did on the road, and that's the year we did Houston. We did Houston and we did Vegas, but we used only Marriott hotels. So that gave us a little bit. Yeah, that gave us a little bit of a discount. But definitely, if we had it in the same place, expenses would be lower. And we've thought about that over the years. Expenses would definitely be lower. But I feel like, we've created a brand now. So there's this expectation now. And so,
and your event is you charge people. So you have a program around what you charge. And we keep our event is free to the public. So, we aren't able to, our revenue doesn't come in from that.
Right.
So
my question is, how do you, since you're going to a new city, especially like with Nashville, you said you've only been to Nashville 4 times. So how do you reach that reader base in those cities?
Oh, social media. I have a love-hate relationship with social media. One, because I don't love being social. But it is definitely the way to connect. You are going to always reach people on social media. And so we just put it out there constantly. This is where it is. We do targeted posts to when we were looking for influencers, and we were like, we specifically wanted influencers in the Nashville area. So that would open us up to that reader base there, so that they can get messages to readers there, you know, that they could come out, especially for the free part of the book signing, because we do have a registration and it is a 3.5-day event. It's a big tag on that registration. You get two meals, all the panels, the parties. So there's a price to it.
Right.
And then there's the negotiating the room price. So there are a lot of things that go into it. And it, like I said, it definitely would be easier to just have it here in Baltimore every year, or just in one location every year. There are definitely perks to that, but we're in it now. This is what it is. So we have to keep this train moving.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, AC, tell people, how do you have room for more people to attend? Is your registration
We
closed?
are completely sold out this year. I'm so excited to say we are completely sold out.
There's a lot of that going around.
But like I said, the book signing is free and open to the public from 1 to 4 on July 20th at the Sheraton Music City Resort.
Okay, and your dates again are?
July 17th through the 20th.
And how can people at least connect with the event online so they can plan for next year?
Our website is onelovereunion.com. We are on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and Twitter as One Love Reunion, one, the number, love, LUV, reunion. And actually, the interest form for authors who are interested in participating for 2025 is up on the website now.
Okay.
So early.
Now, and are you open to is it only romance authors, or is any genre, or multiple genres, or fiction genres?
So initially we were romance and women's fiction. We've had a lot of suspense and thrillers and fantasy. And so I think the committee, the author liaisons, kind of just go through and see what seems to mesh with our group of people. It's usually, though, I think women's fiction and romance, anything that's going to be along those lines. Fantasy is really big and thrillers are really big.
Okay. And finally, you did get the package I sent you?
I did. I have it all ready to go. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay. All right then. Well, AC, congratulations.
Thank you.
I hope your event is a smashing success, because I know how much work you put into it.
Thank you so much.
And love.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, and we'll see you again soon in some capacity.
In some capacity. We'll all be around.
Right. Okay. Well, thanks for being on the show. And
thanks for having me.
Have a great evening.
You too.
Best wishes for your event.
Thank you so much.